Hello, I am Shantae Alrighty. I am here with a student loan update. For all the student loan borrowers out there, I am just getting set up, bringing everyone into the conversation. Again, I am here with important student loan updates and deadline dates that are important for you as a student loan borrower. Also, this is for you if you are not a student loan borrower and you are related to one, connected to one, a friend of one. This is for you as well because millions and millions of student loan borrowers are affected. And there's several different timelines and deadlines that we're going to be speaking of today. One is looming around the corner. So we want to make sure that everyone that has an opportunity to take action does take action regarding their student loans. If you have been in the wilderness and have not been updated or have not seen any of my other updates, please know that billions and billions and billions of dollars have been forgiven in student loans for millions of student loan borrowers. So I'll be giving some of that information here as well today. I'm going to make sure I open up the opportunity for you all to ask questions in the comments. If I don't get to them while I am live, I would definitely follow up after the live broadcast. So we are broadcasting live. So shout out to everyone, all of our followers across YouTube, LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram, no matter what, Twitter, wherever you are. What I would ask that you do is give this video a thumbs up, share this video out to other people. I wouldn't have to come on and do the live videos if enough people were educated on what is happening regarding student loans, if there was enough awareness. So I have helped thousands of borrowers get forgiveness or get closer to forgiveness just by sharing free information. So if you've been following me, you know sharing is caring. It doesn't cost us any money to share information, but you sharing information can have a huge impact on someone else that didn't even know that these programs were available, and now they know they can take action on them and then be free from debt, right? Just by having the knowledge and the information to take the appropriate action, they can be rid of their student loan debt, and then we can take that money and apply it to other things in our lives. And especially us as entrepreneurs, being able to reinvest that money into our businesses is so important. So that's why I'm here today. I thank you so much for joining. I see you all out there. So I'm going to go ahead and get right into it. So again, under the Biden administration and the Department of Education, there has been a complete overhaul of the student loan programs. Okay. And so that is important for you to know. There have been intervals of forgiveness that have been happening month over month over month. New parts of the programs that was implemented that are now going to be rolling out into the summer. That's what we're going to be covering here today. The last that was reported on Thursday, which is today, is that the Biden administration has just announced forgiveness of $5.8 billion. So this is almost $6 billion in forgiveness, cancellation for 78,000 public service workers, and will be sending congratulatory emails. So that's one of the things that I always say is, if you want to know if you're one of the ones that is getting the forgiveness, please make sure that you are checking your emails, your inboxes, and including your spam folders. You just never know where the emails will hit, but they will come from the Department of Education. And then following that, you will most likely receive a correspondence from your servicer. So it's also important to know who your student loan servicer is, because it may have changed. I know my servicer changed. I think it was like late last year or the middle of last year. I was notified of the change. And so I am up to date. and in connection with my student loan servicer. I also consolidated with my servicer, which I'll be talking about in a moment here. So you're talking about just now $6 billion on top of the billions that have already been forgiven. In addition to that, what the Biden administration is going to be doing is sending out emails to almost 400,000 borrowers who may be eligible for debt relief in the next year or two. So even if you're not eligible for forgiveness now or next month, anticipate you are going to be, depending on where you are with your student loans, especially if you've been at the 10-year mark, 20-year mark, 25-year mark, you're going to be coming up for forgiveness depending on what program you are in. And so that's around the corner, because we're almost at the end of quarter one of 2024. So time is flying by. And these programs are bringing so much relief to student loan borrowers. So with that said, what I want to focus on, one of the important things I want to focus on today is one of the biggest moves that the administration made and the Department of Education made is to create a one-time credit adjustment for student loan borrowers. Now, this is for federal student loans. So this is not private student loans. There's not much I can do about that. These are for federal student loan borrowers. Okay, so if you're a federal student loan borrower, you qualify for a one-time payment adjustment. And what that means is that you're going to get credit for time paying into your student loans that you would not normally get credit for. So if, for instance, you are striving for forgiveness at 20 years, and you are upon your 20 years, or you've had your student loan for 20 years, but you haven't been properly credited, or you haven't been in one of the income-driven payment programs, that what they're saying is, even if you weren't in the program, even if you haven't been on it that long, what we're going to do is give you credit for time paid or time served in these programs, as if you were already in the program. That means times when you didn't pay, times when you were in hardship, times when you were in deferment, times when you were in forbearance. All of that time, they're going to pull together and give you an adjustment, and that is going to bring you closer to your forgiveness. That is going to be able to help you to know where you are with regards to getting forgiveness. So you will know if you're under the PSLF program, are you at the 10-year mark? If you're under the income-driven payment program, are you at the 20-year mark or 25-year mark, depending on when you took out your student loan? So this is why you're seeing so many people getting forgiveness, is because if you've already been paying 20, 25 years, they're like, we're going after them. We're going to them first, seeing who has already had their student loan and been paying for 20 and 25 years, and let's credit them and give them the forgiveness. So they're wiping out your student loan debt because you're forgiven. And on top of that, there's many people that have paid over and above that time. So if you should have gotten forgiveness at the 20-year mark, and now you're at the 22-year mark, you're going to get a refund for any of those payments that you paid over and above the time that you should have. So that is an added benefit for you. Okay, so updated payment counts have so far provided $45.7 billion in relief to over 930,000 borrowers under the Biden administration since the time that they implemented this payment account adjustment. Now, here is the important part. You must be in the proper programs to qualify. So this is automatic. There's nothing additional you have to do, except for the fact that if your federal student loan is not held with the Department of Education, then you need to consolidate your student loan into a Department of Education loan. And that consolidation needs to happen before April 30th. Please take note of that date. Please notate that date, April 30th. This is an extended deadline from the December 31st, 2023 deadline. They said, okay, we're going to extend it. Now, we have not heard any word that they're going to extend it again, and I don't want to wait to see if they're going to extend it again, because there's no guarantee that they will. So while the programs are available, while they're giving you this one-time payment adjustment, we want to make sure our loans qualify for these adjustments. And in order to qualify, your loan must be held with the Department of Education. So when you log into your student aid account, which you do that by going to studentaid.gov, log into your account, and you will see your student loans, and it should say Department of Education by your loans. If it says Department of Education, you're good. You're good. There's nothing else you have to do. But if it does not say Department of Education, then there is some action you need to take to consolidate. Now, there's no guarantee you're going to meet the deadline, because the application process can take up to 60 days. So you want to get it in as soon as possible in hopes that you will get your application processed by the April 30th deadline. So that's why I've been coming out with these regular updates, is to help you take action before the deadline hits, so you can qualify. So an example of this is my student loan is federal. One of my undergraduate. So I have graduate loans and undergraduate loans. My undergraduate loan was held with Navient, which is a private student loan company, which meant that, and I had to investigate, I had to research to be super clear, 100% clear on what was happening. Okay. So because my loan used to be held with Sallie Mae, then so if you know Sallie Mae, if you're familiar, put a 1 in the comment. Okay. If you remember Sallie Mae, everybody that had a federal loan under Sallie Mae, all of your loans went to a private student loan servicing company, most of which went to Navient. Okay. So Navient isn't the only one, but let's just use that as an example. If your loan is held with Navient, that means that you would not qualify for the adjustment. Okay. Yes. Like myself, I was on the IDR program, but we know that was going nowhere. We weren't getting proper credit. Right? So now we're going to get credit, but they're saying, okay, in order to be able to benefit from it, we need your loan to be held with the Department of Education. So what did I do? I consolidated my loan to a Department of Education loan. Why? Because I didn't want to miss out and then still be waiting another 20 years or more for my student loans to be forgiven. It's the same requirement for the program where the Biden administration was going to cancel up to 20,000 for student loan borrowers that was shut down by the Supreme Court. Well, I was anticipating that, right? My graduate student loan was approved, so I was waiting for that. But guess what? My undergraduate loan did not qualify because it was not held with the Department of Education. And I'm telling you, if I did not know that, I'm assuming because I have a federal loan, I'm automatically eligible. You can't tell me otherwise. It wasn't until, again, I did in-depth research into what was happening and what the qualifications were that I found out that even though I have a federal student loan, because it's held with a private company that was beyond my control, I had no parts in that decision happening. But there's a direct impact on me, meaning that no matter what programs come down the pipeline, because my loan is held with Navient, I'm not going to qualify? That's correct. So if your loan is still held by a private company or what they may call a commercial company, please go ahead and take the steps. Go to studentaid.gov, reach out to your servicer, and start the consolidation process, because there's more coming down the pipeline. But it doesn't matter if your loans are not held with the Department of Education. Okay, this also includes if you have a Perkins loan, Perkins loans, Parent Plus loans. So those parents out there, many have contacted me. You're a parent who took out a loan on behalf of your child. You don't know that your Parent Plus loan can qualify for this program. There are a lot of parents struggling with their Parent Plus loans. That was for their child. It's not even for them. And you can get those loans forgiven. Okay? You can get those loans forgiven, but you must consolidate. Okay? So let me just clarify again. If you have a commercially held federal student loan, you have a Perkins loan, Parent Plus loan, or a health education assistance loan. If your loan falls into any of those categories, you need to go ahead and consolidate into a Department of Education loan. And that must be consolidated before April 30th of this year. Okay? Just for Parent Plus loans, let me just state this. So Parent Plus loans that have been federally managed are eligible for forgiveness if they have been in repayment for at least 25 years. Borrowers with Parent Plus loans will also receive credit for any time considered eligible under the adjustment. So for this information this information applies to you if you are either on an income-driven repayment plan, in a public service loan forgiveness program, or not in a IDR plan, but interested to have a direct loan, right, held by the Department of Education. So the fact that you just want to have a loan with the Department of Education, you can qualify for this as a parent with a Parent Plus loan. So this is really significant for those that are at, again, the 10-year mark. If you are eligible for PSLF, and I'll go more in detail about that in just a second. This is for any public service worker. So you have additional benefits. I mean, you get to have your student loans canceled way earlier than I do and my peers, because you're a public service worker. You can get yours forgiven in 10 years. But there's many people that don't even know that the program exists or that their employment qualifies for this particular program. So for those to qualify under PSLF, you need to go ahead and certify your employment. So your employment that qualifies under the PSLF program. So this is government workers, county workers, public school workers, if you work for like a library, public hospital, you name it, police officer, fireman, if you are a nurse or a doctor in a public hospital, all of these public type service worker, what you want to do is go to studentaid.gov, go to the PSLF tab and find the area where it says to check if your employer is approved for the program. Put the name of the employer in there. If it is, go ahead and get a certification letter from your employer and apply for PSLF. Apply for PSLF. So it's many people that didn't. I mean, people have come to me and said, oh, well, I worked in public service for over 30 years. Well, ma'am, sir, you could have had your student loans forgiven. Now, again, they're cleaning it up, right? They weren't, even people that were qualified, that had met the requirements before the cleanup, weren't even getting their student loans forgiven. But now you can go ahead and do it. And then on top of that, if you're over the 10 years, to be able to get credit, a refund for payments made, I mean, now is the time to do it. It's just making sure that your loans that you have meet the qualifications and that you're taking the steps, because for PSLF, you need to have certified your employment. So go back. Even if it was 10 years ago or 20 years ago, account for all your employment that met the qualification for public service and working 30 hours or more in that capacity. You may qualify for the PSLF program where you get forgiveness after 10 years. Those under the IDR program, the income driven payment plan, depending on which one you're on, you can get, or depending on which one you're on, you could get forgiveness after 20 years or 25 years. And if you're like me or around my age, right? I'm my undergraduate program, I'm above the 20 years. For the plan I was on and for the plan I'm on now, which is SAVE, for undergraduates, it's 20 years. For graduates, it is 25 years. So you need to know what program you're on and know what the criteria is and the timelines. It varies depending on which income-driven plan that you're on. Now, SAVE is the newest plan. SAVE is the plan. If you're not even on an income-driven plan, the recommendation is that you get on the plan. And some of these new benefits require you be on the SAVE plan. So SAVE is the best, in my opinion, the best program to be on, not only for forgiveness, but to lower your payments. So even if you say you have forgiveness coming up in 1 or 2 years and you've been struggling to pay, well, it's the program to get the lowest payments. So right now, my payments are set to 0. Okay. So again, this is very, 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 very important to know. And so let me just expound on the effects of this credit adjustment on PSLF applicants. So if you're a PSLF applicant or you think you qualify, can you put a 2 in the comments? Put a 2 in the comments if you have a PSLF application in, or you think you may qualify for public service forgiveness. Put a 2 in the comments. Now, these are the effects on these applicants. So borrowers with at least one approved PSLF form will begin to see their PSLF accounts adjusted in the fall of 23. So you have already seen the account adjustments. That's why, again, we're here at the point where they just approved another $6 billion per PSLF. Wiped out. I mean, I've seen some borrowers with like upward of 300,000 gone. 300,000 in student loan debt gone. They're on the PSLF program. Borrowers who consolidate will have their PSLF counts temporarily reset to 0, and these counts will begin adjusting in the fall of 2023. So that's what happened. PSLF counts will continue to be adjusted each month until the IDR counts for all federally held FFELP and direct loans are adjusted in 2024. So after the adjustment in 2024, all periods credited toward the IDR also will be credited towards your PSLF for eligible loans and periods where the borrower certifies public service employment. Again, there's the word certify. You must certify your public service employment. If you've applied or will apply for PSLF and certify your employment, you may see benefits of this adjustment to qualify for to adjust your qualifying payment count. These changes will be applied automatically to all PSLF eligible direct loans, including consolidated and unconsolidated parent plus loans. Parent plus loans. If you believe you may benefit, you want to use the PSLF help tool to certify periods of employment and track your progress towards forgiveness. Okay? Again, if you have not consolidated, you need to have it consolidated before April 30th. Okay? And this is so important because, again, for IDR, every 2 months, what they're doing is that they're forgiving another group of borrowers every 2 months. Okay, every 2 months. So they did it. They just did it in February. Every 2 months. So February, they skip March. This is for the overall adjustment. And then April. So again, every other month they are forgiving, you seeing forgiveness across the board with these credit adjustments. So you want to make sure that you are in that number. And this is to bring them up to date in June, not in June or July. So in summer of 2024, where they're said to have brought adjusted all the accounts, and everybody will have their correct number. So you will know where you're at. You will know if you're at the 10 mark, or if you're at 9, or if you're at 19 or 20. Right now, there's no way to tell. I mean, it will be visible and transparent. You will know, the Department of Education will know, your servicer will know, and it will be highlighted on your account at studentaid.gov and in your servicer account. But right now, if you call and ask, I mean, there's a guessing game, but there's no real knowing of where you're at regarding your student loan forgiveness. So that's what they've been working on, to bring us up to date and be able to properly account for where every student loan borrower is towards getting forgiveness. So that's important. I know I want to know, because I don't think they have my records correct, right? Because my undergraduate, I've been paying 25 years and I should have been forgiven at the 20-year mark, but I wasn't. Okay, so that's the consolidation part of it. The consolidation to a Department of Ed loan, April 30th. This is not consolidating to an outside or private loan that you have to pay for. All of this is free. You can apply, you can consolidate, certify, studentaid.gov, all of it for free. Now, with that said, yes, all of this, you can do it for free. It's accessible for free. Go to studentaid.gov. But even with that, we know many people still don't know what to do. They're confused by the information. They may not be technically savvy. They may not be well informed, may not know how to navigate the process. If you need help, you can go to our workshop. It's $25. I think it's like a 2.5, 3 hour workshop where I break down every single program, no matter what program you may be eligible for. I break it down. I take you step by step on how to apply and what the forgiveness is, all the timelines. I didn't leave anything out, no matter what program, even defense claims, because these aren't the only forgiveness programs that are out there. I go through every single forgiveness program that is available to you. So you may qualify for more than one, right? So if you need additional help, I have a workshop available. The link is in the description. That's where you see the words of this video. It's $25. Go ahead and get it. Download it to a computer, not your mobile device. Download it to a computer, save it on your cloud drive. Go through it, and then go take the steps to get closer to student loan forgiveness. So most of you already are eligible. I mean, you would qualify. You just haven't taken the steps. Your loan is not consolidated, or you haven't certified what you need to certify. So let's go ahead and do those things. Now, another important date is July 1st. So July 1st, this is when, again, the credit adjustments are supposed to be all done, right? By the end of July. And then also additional SAVE benefits under the SAVE program, additional benefits kick in. So one of those include undergraduate loans will be cut in half. Okay, reduced from 10% to 5% income above the 225% poverty line. So borrowers who have undergraduate and graduate loans will pay a weighted average of between 5% and 10% of their income based on the original principal balance of their loans. So it will go from 10% down to 5% for undergraduate. If you have undergraduate and grad like mine, there will be a weighted average between 5% and 10%. So that's an added benefit from where you already are now. So I said mine is set to 0, but yours may not be set to 0. Okay. So, but it's an additional benefit they may get. Is going to further reduce the payments that you're paying on a monthly basis. Okay. Also, another benefit that took place early that was supposed to start in July. This is really important. Forgiveness for borrowers whose original principal balance was $12,000 or less. So if your student loan was $12,000 or less, can you put a 3 in the comments? If yours was $12,000 or less, put a 3 in the comments. So if yours under the SAVE program, if your balance, your original balance, not what it is right now, it could be $20,000. But if your original balance was $12,000 or less, you'll receive forgiveness for any remaining balance after making 10 years of payments, with the maximum repayment period before forgiveness rising by 1 year for every additional $1,000 borrowed. So what they said was, okay, they're supposed to start this part of the program in July, but we're going to go ahead and start this in February. We're going to just start forgiving these borrowers' loans in February. So they started it last month. But when I put out another video that said what you have to do is make sure you're on the SAVE program. So you must be on the SAVE program and have paid for 10 years. And when I say pay for 10 years, that means you had to have had a student loan for 10 years, because I just talked about the credit adjustments. So if you have not actually paid, if you've been on the forbearance or deferment or hardship, any of these types of things, that is included. Okay, but you had to have been at the 10-year mark and you had to be on SAVE. This is a SAVE benefit. So if you fall in that category where your loan was $12,000 or less, what you want to do is, one, make sure you have a direct loan, right? And then make sure that you are on the SAVE program. This is a SAVE program benefit. So if you're on another program, you wouldn't be entitled to this. Even though you're like, oh, well, I meet those qualifications, I should qualify. You should, but you only qualify if you are on the SAVE program. So what do you want to do? If you're not on the SAVE program, you want to apply. You want to get in contact with your servicer and switch over to the SAVE program. Okay. So these are July 1st benefits. Additional benefits to the SAVE program. Those that were not already implemented, these are ones that they said were coming, that will be implemented in July. And so you should see these things reflected on your student loans and in your statements. These are things you want to be mindful of and pay attention to. Every month I get a statement that's emailed to me, but I check into my account on a regular basis to make sure everything is up to date. And that I'm good. And I'm checking for forgiveness emails too on a regular basis. So that's July 1. Let's talk about the upcoming September deadlines. Okay. September 30th. Mark this date down. September the 30th. There's two programs that you want to be mindful of with the September 30th date. Now, at the beginning of this program, when we came off a moratorium and now our student loan borrowers needed to get into a program and their student loan, they were going to be required to start paying back their student loans, they implemented what's called an on-ramp period. It was a 12-month on-ramp program so that they can allow the program to get back up to speed, servicers to get with the program, and allow time for student loan borrowers to figure things out and get into the right program. So they already anticipated and knew that some student loan borrowers would not be ready to pay back their student loans. Okay, they already knew that, and they didn't want you to go into default again and have to worry about it and it be problematic for you. So they created an on-ramp program. Okay, so this ran from October 1st of 2023 to September 30th of 2024. And this is a 12-month program so that it means if you missed a payment during this time, you wouldn't be considered delinquent, you wouldn't be reported to credit bureaus, you wouldn't be placed in default or referred to any debt collection agency. So you should have seen that. If you're not paying and you're not in a program like I am and many others are, and you're like, oh, well, none of my credit wasn't affected. I'm not it's not showing delinquent. That's why, because there is an on-ramp period. But you don't want to wait till September the 30th. I'm telling you, there are forgiveness programs there and plans you want to get into so that you avoid becoming delinquent, it affecting your credit score again, going into default, and having be hounded by debt collections agencies. So there's no reason to do that when there's programs available to you right now. And the last program, and very important program, is the Fresh Start program. Now, there are people, many borrowers that were in default prior to COVID. So we know COVID, if you were in default, everything shut down. We were under moratorium, okay? Once that released, that meant your default status continued. So, but the program they made available is the Fresh Start program. There is no reason to be in default. If your loan is in default, you can get out today. You can apply to the Fresh Start program by going to studentaid.gov. Everything that you can do, all of these programs can be found on studentaid.gov. Okay, Fresh Start program. Go ahead and apply. This is the last day, September 30th, the last day that you can apply for the Fresh Start program. We're in March. Do not wait to the deadline. Why do that? Right? Right. So if you can understand all of the benefits of being out of default and the positive impact it will have on your credit, your credit profile, your credit score, your credit report is significant. It's huge, right? Even if you're not an entrepreneur, business owner, if you're one, for many people, their student loan is the only thing preventing them from buying a house. So if you can get your student loan under control and forgiven, and it positively impacts your credit report, why not do it? And now you're closer to being a home buyer. I mean, there's just so many benefits to being able to do it. Or, maybe consolidating another high interest loan that you have. Maybe it's a car loan or whatever. But you got that because of your defaulted student loan. There is a program. So there's really no reason for anybody right now to be in default. But you have until September the 30th of 2024 to apply for the Fresh Start program and bring your loan current. So you are also, the reason why you don't want to wait is because even those people in default can be eligible for the one-time credit adjustment. The benefits of it for any time that you are not in default. And this includes time that you were in, if you were in default during the COVID period, the COVID moratorium. They're going to give you credit for that. This one-time credit is huge. It's similar to the PSLF waiver that happened back in 2023 that some public service workers missed out on. But those that didn't, again, the waiver either made it right then and there, they were eligible for forgiveness, or they were months shy of it, and in a few months they were eligible for forgiveness. But public service workers saw huge benefits due to that one-time waiver. And so even those that are public service workers now, the waiver is no longer it's no longer available, but now this one-time adjustment replaces that. So again, you still get credit, but the time is winding down. So again, this is automatic. There's nothing else you have to do. for the credit adjustment, except for consolidate if your student loan isn't already held by the Department of Education. Okay, I see you all out there. Just checking to see if you all have questions. Let me see. Hello, hello, hello. Thank you so much. Again, I'm going to ask you all to share this out. Tag another student loan borrower. Share this out with them. Get on the phone. Like during COVID, this is what people were doing. They were calling up their folks. They were sending them an email. They were sending them a text. I don't want you all to miss out on this opportunity. I mean, I could have just kept all this to myself, but why? Why do that? Right? There are millions of student loan borrowers that really don't need to be suffering and burdened by student loan debt when there are things that you can do. Now, for those that say, "Oh, I get just, not worrying about my student loans," well, this is not for you. But I would encourage you to change your mindset, because you're probably one of those in a group that you're probably eligible right now for forgiveness, but you checked out and said, "Oh, what the heck with my student loan? It is what it is." But there's things that you can do. You don't have to be that way. Whether or not you acknowledge that it's a thing, or whether you acknowledge it's a thing or not, it's still having an impact on you. It's still having an impact on you, right? So if you're not paying, it's having a real impact on your ability to get access to other opportunities. I see it all the time, every day. And so let's take control over our student loan debt. That's what I'm asking. Let's take control, because real efforts have been made and continue to be made to help student loan borrowers. There's even though the initial widespread cancellation was shut down by the Supreme Court, the administration did not stop. They went to work. They kept working. Then they went to work on another widespread forgiveness program. Okay. That they brought in people from the public of all backgrounds, political views, and they brought them to the table to work out a plan that would benefit student loan borrowers and get them to forgiveness. So maybe in the upcoming weeks, I will come and bring on an update on where we are with regard to that. That what they already knew, it would take longer to go through it, because there's the discussion, the reviews, and they bring it to the public for comment. It's a long process. But we're getting closer to that, the gap closing in on being able to even get access to that forgiveness. Right? So if you have a student loan that if you've been paying like 10 years or more, can you put a number 4 in the comments? If you've been paying 10 years or more, put a 4 in the comments. So I'm looking for the day that I can say that my student loans are forgiven. And here's the thing. Now, when I consolidated, I could have just consolidated my Navient loan. Okay. This is what I did. And I would encourage you to do it, but you do your own thing. Okay. But I'm going to tell you the benefit of it. Okay. So I could have just consolidated that one, but I said, you know what? When I asked about my other ones that were held by the Department of Ed, again, don't assume. So I asked my servicer, okay, so my graduate loans that are held by the Department of Education, I want those to be under SAVE. And then she said, well, these 2 loans over here, they're held by the Department of Education, but they don't qualify for SAVE. I said, they don't? Well, I said, well, how do I get them? How do I get them to qualify for SAVE? She said to consolidate. So what I did, I consolidated all of my loans. I wanted to qualify under the SAVE program because I know it's the best program. It's going to get me closer to forgiveness. Like I'm here. Okay? Consolidating those loans. Listen to this. I have an undergraduate that I got I got the loan in 1994 when I started, right? Then I got my master's in 2011. So I think I got that loan in either 2010 or 209, one of those. Okay. By consolidating the undergraduate and the graduate loan, they're going to go by the oldest loan, which is my undergraduate. Just think about if you have undergraduate and graduate loans, or you had an education at this date, then stopped and went back and got another education, took out a student loan. Listen to this. They are going to go by the oldest date of the loan and cancel it based on that date. So I don't what does that mean? My entire student loan will be forgiven based on my undergraduate date. I don't have to wait. Meaning they're not going to just forgive my undergraduate loan, then I have to wait more years, right? For them to consolidate, to forgive my graduate loan. Because they are consolidated together, they're going to go based on the oldest date, which is my undergraduate date, and it's all going to be wiped out. I hope y'all listening. I'm giving you the steps to take to let you know what is going to happen with your student loan. So what I would encourage you to do, and again, is your decision. You need to weigh it yourself. But if you have student loan, you go into you log into studentaid.gov. Even if your loans are held with the Department of Education, they say Department of Ed, and they're not all one loan. They break them up. You may have 5 different loans, and it's held by the Department of Education. One, you want to make sure that they're all eligible for SAVE. Make sure they're all eligible for SAVE. Then you might want to go ahead and consolidate them all together. Now, if you consolidate them in any capacity, know that you're going to be consolidating under a new interest rate. Okay. So I hear people talking about that as well when people ask about student loans. Well, if you consolidate, it may change your interest rate. It will, and it may go up. It may or it may not. Right? So you will know all that before you go through any final steps. You are working with your student loan servicer. Okay. So you will know. I knew before I said, okay, let's go hit the button and actually do the thing. I knew what it was. So for my undergraduate, the interest actually went down. For my undergraduate, it went up. But to me, it went up, but to me, it's worth it. I mean, I've already had this loan for 25 plus years. Okay. I'm trying to get forgiveness. That's my game plan. So you need to know what your game plan is. My game plan is to get forgiveness as soon as possible. And I'm going to take every step possible to get it. I'm not really, the difference in the interest rate was not that significant. It didn't have any impact. My payments are still at 0. But I'm in the correct program. I'm going to get the credit adjustment, and I'm going to get the forgiveness. And hopefully before the end of this year. Okay. So, but you have to you make that decision on your own. Is it worth it for you to get forgiveness, or, you don't want to because it went up in 1 point in interest? You make that decision. That's on you. But if you consolidate and all of your loans are qualified for the SAVE program, and all of them are under one umbrella, when they forgive it, it will all be forgiven based on the oldest date. Whereas if you had left it, okay, you have a Department of Ed loan over here, a Department of Ed loan over here, a Department of Ed loan over here. So you have 3 or 4 different ones. They're all separate. So they stand on their own. So when they're going through the data, scrubbing the data to see what the timelines are, they're looking at them individually instead of together as one loan based on the oldest loan they're going to. And they're going to forgive the whole thing. That's what I want. I want to have my entire loan forgiven. So that's what I did. But again, there are many different options for all of you all that are out there. Again, if even if you're not a student loan borrower yourself, you know someone who is. And probably that someone doesn't even know that they are eligible for any of these programs. I haven't even talked about the defense claims. Okay. So these programs are out here. And especially if you are a public service worker in any time in your life, even if it's not right now, go get credit, certify that employment, submit a PSLF application. You will be surprised. Again, a lady, 30 years. She was like, well, I worked in public service 30, didn't even realize she could qualify for PSLF. Okay. So know that people don't know. They're not aware what's going on. People have things going on. They're not always up on the latest, because I know that based on what I hear people saying, as though people's student loans aren't being forgiven. They're being forgiven every day. Billions of them. For millions of student loan borrowers, they're doing it every single month. And if you had a small loan under $12,000, go ahead and get that forgiven. Make sure you're on the right program. Get it for, I don't care if it's $30,000. If the original was $12,000, you qualify if you have already met the 10-year threshold and on the same program. Come on. Let's take the action we need to take to make sure that we get forgiveness. And while we're waiting for forgiveness, that we get those payments at a place that they're more manageable. And they are from me. So I hope that you all take the steps to make, again, the payments manageable for you, and that you go ahead and get forgiveness. So whether it's in the upcoming months, or a year or 2 or 3, as long as we get it to the point where everybody knows where they are. So then you know what actions you can take. That's something we did not have before. That's not the fault of student loan borrowers. That's why they're doing this. They recognize while all the people are talking about handouts and all of this and people not taking accountability, that is not it at all. The system was broken. There have been fixes implemented, improved, significant ones implemented so that this does not happen again. And there continue to be efforts made. So as efforts continue to roll out, and I will let you all know if there are actions that you need to take. I will let you all know, but be mindful of these timelines of when things are rolling out, and then also deadlines of when things are coming to a close. April 30th is a big deadline. Get those loans consolidated. After that, I don't know. So maybe I might be here a month later saying maybe they extended it, but let's not wait to see if they extend it. That's what people did with PPP. They did it with EIDL. They did it with a lot of these different programs where they were hoping for another extension and another extension. And Congress just said, we're not extending again. That's what they did with the student loan moratorium. So we also need to know what branches do what. Who controls what? Because Congress said we're not going to allow another student loan moratorium extension. So they removed the extent. They required you all to pay your student, but they put in programs to make it easier and less of a burden on us as they ramped up for people to start paying back their loans. So they even ramped up programs to get us forgiveness through the powers that they have in place to do so. That's cleaning it up and saying, okay, we're cleaning up our mess, and while we're scrubbing, yours is forgiven, yours is forgiven, yours is forgiven, yours is discharged, yours is discharged. We found that this school over here didn't do what they were supposed to do, or this servicer didn't do what they were supposed to do. So here's money for you. Here's money for you. We're going to cancel over here, cancel over there, because these things are beyond our control. And they're up to the people, the servicers and the Department of Education, to make sure these programs are benefiting us. That's why they are now that they are. And I hope that they continue to be with these improvements that have been made. So again, take advantage of them. If you have any questions, again, post them in the comments and I will definitely respond. This is the time to get your questions answered. Someone is saying I'm an acupuncturist. Does that count as public? Ma'am, It depends on your employer, your field of work. I don't know. I can't answer that. The question is, did you work for an eligible employer? Was it public service, right? A public entity you work for, like the government, the county. Now, if you are a contractor, that is not included. So people ask me, I was a contractor. So my company contracted for the government or some government or public entity or a nonprofit. Does that make me eligible? The answer is no. It has not changed yet. In most instances is no. But it depends on how you were set up. So again, what I would do is research and investigate and ask. Don't take my word for it, but typically, if you're a contractor, that would not qualify. But it just depends on, it depends. So it's not if you're an acupuncturist, is who was your employer? And was it considered public service work? Even if nonprofits, if you work for a nonprofit, did you work directly for a nonprofit where you paid from a nonprofit? My loans went from $12K in 1998 to now $53K. Isn't that crazy? That is insane. The lender has changed and they sent me information on consolidating. So if yours was $12K or less, go back to that loan. If it was a 98, I mean, you already met the requirement, but you have to be on the SAVE program. So if you're not, get on that SAVE program so that you, again, when they're scrubbing and they're pulling the data, yours is going to be included. They're going to say, okay, they're going to look and see that your loan met the 12K or under, and they're going to forgive it. But you have to be on the right program in order to do that. And the fact that it went to $53,000 is ridiculous. Okay. So public service, nonprofit, government, I named. If you missed it, go back to the beginning, catch the replay. Again, our workshop is available. It's $25. $25 workshop. If you need it, get it. If you don't, just go to studentaid.gov and get to work. Contact your servicer. If you already know what to do, just do it and come back and share your testimonial. Let us know when your student loan has been forgiven and how much it's been forgiven. We love to celebrate you and share it with our audience. That lets them know that if it happened for you, that it can happen for them. That these things are really happening despite much of the misinformation that is out there. People's student loans are getting forgiven. And man, I didn't even know people could have $500,000 in student loans, but people have $500,000 in student loans. I mean, I have 6 figures in student loans. Like, who would have thought? But this is real. And it's real that you can give a forgiven, cancel, whatever you want to call it, meaning it's done, it's gone, it's over with, and it's no longer a burden. Okay. So again, give us a thumbs up, hit that love button, subscribe if you enjoy our content, and tune in for the next show, because we're always bringing you the latest news and updates that are important to you as a small business owner. As always, continue to be the boss with amplified impact, and have a great day.